it's such a nice meditative way to start our day or our week. Just going into the Tanya gives us a little bit of a centering, Every time even the Hebrew words of the Tanya, just like reading them, it like washes over me with like the Altar's wisdom and everything that he has in mind for us, for the Chassidim, to give us something to hold on to come back to. It's very like, the mantras, it's almost like a little repetitive, the Tanya, as you've seen, like we keep saying, animal soul, godly soul, Chabad, Chachma, Bina, Das, wisdom, understanding, knowledge, and it's like the repetition is almost ingraining it in our psyche, in our minds, and in our hearts, and then it's like becomes, they say the chassid screensaver, the pious person's screensaver, like, remember the old Windows? Where like it would go blank and then like these like colorful waves and you just watch them. So when our mind goes blank, like when we're waiting online or something between something, what does our mind go to? What's the working pattern that keeps repeating itself every time we have a minute to just not be busy?
Okay, so mine's kind of silly. Mine goes to...
L'chaim. I just want to say L'chaim. Welcome to Espresso and Kabbalah. Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Clink. Welcome back. Happy Thursday. If you leave a blessing on the coffee.
Mine goes to the, when you're putting your kids to bed, Hamalach Habolati. That's like the most calming thing to me. And,
that's beautiful.
And I think part of it is, yes, it's something that we do with our kids for their bedtime prayers.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like, we've done, this summer we did 3 Brit Milah on Zoom.
Oh.
Or live stream, whatever. People were elsewhere, but thanks to COVID, now we can like be there.
Yeah.
And at every one of them, and maybe they've done it before and they never noticed before, but at every one of them, while the baby was futzing afterwards, like, I don't really like this, please cover me back up, I'm cold kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was always somebody in the back who was either humming it or singing it. And I was like, you know what? It is supposed to be a calming baby.
That's what you like sing when you're... No worries, I'll get you a towel. But isn't that, like, that's what you sing in your mind?
But that's what goes in my mind when I can't, like, think, or, I'm just like, nothing's happening.
Yeah, it just calms you down.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
But I never did it on purpose. Like, it just, like, all of a sudden one day I was humming, and Mia Beth started singing to it, and I was like, oh, right.
Exactly. Right. Okay. So that's such a nice, is there anything else that like you try to think or that naturally comes up? Do you have something you try to focus your mind on in between moments?
Nothing in particular, but it usually goes that. Like lately I've been saying,
Einod milvado.
Yeah.
There is nothing but Hashem.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kind of as a reminder. But yeah, I just like to imagine my thoughts like clouds, just coming and going.
That's such a nice mantra. So yeah, a mantra really helps. Like, when we like decide on something that we're gonna float back to. And I just saw posted, someone said that they like to, how people say do a take 2 when something goes wrong, like, oh, can I try that again? I didn't mean to speak that way, or can I try that again? Let me apologize for what I said and say something over. So we can also do it to Hashem or to ourselves, like, oh, I didn't mean to think that way. Let me do that kinder, because we also get a chance to redo our own self-dialogue, and that affects also how we talk to each other. And the Tanya is meant to be a book that we open, and we're in the practical Tanya by the Alter Rebbe, Rabbi Shneur Zalman of Liadi, and he wants us to open this book and say, like, okay, this is what I can come back to. This is something that can be a guiding light, a guiding reminder, a guiding force that in all of my moments, my busy moments, my happy, sad, relaxed, whatever is going on in our lives, we all have so much happening, just to come back to. So we're in chapter 19, page 226. And today's teaching, we're going to wrap up this chapter. It's a very rich chapter, which is why we spent a while on it. But we're going to discuss a little bit about this internal wisdom and knowingness and how it can guide us in all situations. Cool? Amazing. Any questions? Also feel free to I love questions. It's the best part of learning together is when we can talk about it. So Chachma, it remains asleep when we are in a wicked state. Sometimes our wisdom is just not with us. But when we're tested with this life and death matter, right? About do or die. Are you going to stick with your values or not? And we all confront moments like that when someone comes face to face with us, what are you going to do? Are you going to stick to your values or are you not? And that's when the inner wisdom bursts out of hiding and says, I know what to do. Especially, it's almost that's why Hashem sends us challenges. Because he's I want to see the real you pop out. I want to see the knowingness in you emerge and really give you a chance to shine your inner light. It talks about how the wicked people, we're all wicked people sometimes, but it's all sorts of little itty bitty things that get us to fall off track. So the Yetzer Hara, right? The evil inclination. We talk a lot about in Chassidus, there's the good side and the bad side, the good voice and the bad voice, the evil and the good. He never comes and says go rob a bank. Go, hopefully, go do something completely awful and destructive and ruin your whole life and your career and everything. No, he's a little smarter than that. He says, just do that eeny, beeny, weeny little tiny thing. Just say that little thing. It's nothing's gonna happen. You're just so satisfying. Just do that little tiny, tiny, tiny thing. And that's how we are blocking the wisdom from doing its work. It's tiny little rationalizations. It's okay. I don't really like giving examples for bad behavior. But we can all imagine, sometimes the big things don't tempt us. We're not tempted to ruin our lives, really. But we're tempted to maybe...
That's okay, I'll throw the wrapper on the floor.
Yeah, something so innocuous, but, it's not really gonna matter. But the Tanya's coming to teach us, that actually does matter. Every little thing, yeah.
The snarky comment.
Yeah, let it slip out the side of my mouth. No one's gonna know. Yeah, it's so tricky because it's appealing to the rational part of us. That they say in Chassidus, the Yetzer Hara wears a silk black kapeta. He's very pious. He's no, you're doing the right thing. This is good. This is what you're supposed to do. But we have to remember that the wisdom is so much wiser than that. The inner knowingness is, we need to wake it up, right? And rip across that curtain of silliness, the spirit of folly, the spirit of getting us off track, which is really not so helpful. So it says on page 227, I'll read some Hebrew, if that's cool. Azai ne'ira mishnasa u'paelas pe'ulasa. And then the Chachma awakens from its sleep and does its work of arousing faith, B'kayach Hashem melubash ba, using the power of God invested in it. U'kameshakasav vayikatz keyashin Hashem. And the verse states that God awoke as one asleep. So the power of God within the soul was aroused. And this is something that we can all do. We all have deep reserves of real godly wisdom. And we talked it was so much fun to talk about it at the women's brunch, but we talked about emotions and how things are sometimes challenging and we get frustrated, and we all have access to our inner King David, who rides high on his horse and he doesn't give notice to the naysayers and the silly people on the hillside trying to get us off track. We all have that really beautiful, strong, godly light within, and it gives us so much power, and it gives us so much strength to ride the waves, to feel all the feelings without reacting harmfully, and to just like be godly people. So what does it say on page 227? La'amad b'nisayan b'emunas Hashem. And this enables a person, you guys all have the text in the middle of the page, to succeed in a test of faith in God. Yeah? Bli shum tam v'das v'seichel musaglai, without using any of his reasoning, knowledge, or fathomable intellect. Wow, like we don't even need our mind power. We just have it within. Liyaskaber al haklipas v'tavas elam haza beheter be'isser shahorgal bahem, to prevail over the klipos. Remember the peel of the orange. There's like this hidingness that covers the goodness. We can peel that orange and uncover the goodness, all the worldly temptations that try to trip us up and trap us, that, you know, we can prevail over them, even if we're accustomed to kind of just looking at the surface level, whether they be permitted or prohibited. The lim'ais bahem, and even to despise them, realizing how these tiny little seemingly innocent acts that are wicked in essence, right? They separate us from God. So it's almost like our world is so many shades of black and white and gray, and it's tempting to go into black and white thinking, right? Where like, it's all or nothing and forget about it if I just do one, you know. So sometimes it's not good to think in black and white thinking and just to focus on enjoying the process and the gray. But sometimes the Alter Rebbe says it is helpful to realize that a wicked act is black and a positive act is white. And it's important to make that distinction because, you know, sometimes we get confused. But any questions about that? Okay. So it says that in a radical break from lifelong attachment to physical gratification, this person disregards all rational considerations. And he chooses to suffer the pain of death so as not to transgress God's will. His chachma has suddenly woken up from its dormant state and provided him with a surge of faith. And the arousal of wisdom empowers him to choose God as his portion and his lot. Like it says in the Torah, Ubacharta b'chayim, choose life. Cheers. Choose life. Hashem reminds us, like, you don't have to choose silliness. You can choose life. It might be harder. It's not as glitzy and glamorous to choose life. But if we remember, that's life. Think about it. It's like, would you choose a thirsty desert or water? When we think about it in terms of life and death, it's so obvious. Like, obviously, I'm going to choose water, and I'm going to go to the oasis. I don't want to starve and die of thirst. But it's so hard. Like, when we close the book and we're not looking in the Tanya, and all we see is, like, physical reality, it's like, wait, maybe I want the dry, thirsty desert. Like, maybe that's better.
But we took a dry desert and we made it fruitful.
Exactly. So we found the water in the
We found the water in it.
Exactly. Exactly. So when we open up the Tanya, it just reminds us, like, why choose wickedness and silliness and klipa, as tempting and as beautiful as it might be, when God's portion and God's lot is so much more rewarding and gratifying and pleasurable. Limsar lai nafsho kedushas shemai, and to, like, live our lives for God. Va'af ki haklipa is gavra alav kol yamav v'lo yachol lahem, and it can sometimes make us so powerless. 228. I'm just going to run through the last couple of lines of the chapter. What did the rabbis teach? The wicked people are controlled by their hearts, and it's so hard to believe that because we're always told, follow your heart, like the wise heart knows, do what you feel. What do you think of that line?
I think they're controlled by their, what do we used to say? Hashem did what to Pharaoh's heart?
Hardened his heart.
Hardened it.
Yeah.
It's like they follow their hardened heart. They're not following an open heart.
Wow.
Because an open heart would be like, I want you all part of my life.
That's such a beautiful explanation.
Right? Like, I
You're
can't
such a
close my rose
guru.
heart, so nobody could come in.
Yeah, I love that. When the heart is hard and we're following it, that makes us act silly and foolish and,
Sometimes not the way we really want to be.
Yeah, but when the heart is soft and open and like kind of open to the wisdom of the mind, then it leads us to such a beautiful place. Oh my God, I love that, Joe. So, such a beautiful explanation. Thank you. The wicked people are controlled by their hearts, right? Mikol Makam, page 228 in the Practical Tanya. When it comes to an unambiguous test of faith, right, the light is awakened and the klipas are null and void. Sorry, I was just regards to my sister. She just called, so I have to adjust the internet. Hi, Bossy in Brazil. I'll call you back. V'hayu kalei hayu mamash lifnei Hashem. So it's like these klipas are voided in the presence of God. So sometimes it's like, have you ever had the feeling of like when negativity, whatever negative thought is overrunning our mind, it's just like, it's almost like a blackout curtain. And we forget, you know how when you're in the cold weather, you forget what it's like to be warm? Or when you're in the warm weather, you forget what it's like to be cold? Because we're such like sensory people, like we know what we see, what we feel. So this is saying that sometimes when our minds are playing tricks on us, something happened to me. Sometimes when our minds are playing tricks on us, it's like we forget that we have wisdom. You know that feeling, how sometimes we have so much clarity and we're like, how was I ever confused? You know? Like, I see everything now. Like, it makes so much sense to me. I'm just gonna exit that. I see everything now. It makes so much sense to me. And I'm not confused at all. But then when we are confused, or we are lost in a blur of difficult, moments, it's like it was never there, the wisdom. Why is it like this? Once wisdom, do you want to read? Once Chachma.
Once Chachma and its divine light fled through the other parts of the soul, all the kilpos are rendered instantaneously powerless. This is because kilpa can only function under the illusion of fragmentation, and as soon as Chokmah brings to light the fundamental unity of the universe, all kilpas are paralyzed.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah. Exactly. So all of the wickedness is paralyzed. It's like when we light a match, the darkness is gone. Thank you for reading. V'hayu kalei hayu mamash lifnei Hashem, and it's like they were literally never even there, right? All the wicked nations are like nothing. All the enemies are gone. All the evildoers will be scattered. The enemies will perish. As wax melts before the fire, so the wicked will perish before God, right? Mountains melt like wax before Hashem. So this is very interesting. We have a few different divisions of evil in the Tanya. So not everything is super evil. Some things are a little bit evil. There's an explanation of something called Shalosh Klipot Hatzimeot, which is 3 completely horrible, impure klipot. Those are like the bad things we should never ever engage with, never do. And I love the Tanya because it just makes everything so clear. Like, yes, some things we're meant to work with. Klipas Noga is the 4th category. Things that are neutral, like an iPhone or a computer or a TV screen. Morally neutral. Can be used for great things, can be used for bad things. But we have the power to uplift it and use it for positivity. Some things are bad, and I love that it says this because I feel like sometimes people have a misconception of Chabad, Chassidim, or of Jewish mysticism that like it's all peace and love. And it's all, everything is great. You can use it all for great things. No. There are actually some things that are bad. And I think it's really important in our lives, in our relationships and whatever, to know that some things are toxic, are negative, are not meant to be transformed for the good and engaged with. I'll give you an example. Like if someone keeps kosher, no matter how many blessings and beautiful things they do, you can't make a pig kosher. You just can't. It's from the gates of three impure klipot, of the three impure like evils. So we're not meant to transform everything for the good. Some things we have to turn our heads and walk away from, and that's how we transform it to good. It's like King David on the horse. He wasn't meant to go have a conversation with the man who was in a state of negativity and toxicity. His job at that moment was to ride on and not engage and not self-destruct by starting a fight and a back and forth. And it's almost like the ego calls us to engage, like, oh, no, defend your honor and like answer because that person insulted you. Like, no, it's okay. Like King David walked on and he told his friends who wanted to fight back, like, no, we're not fighting. We're just moving. And the three impure, wicked things in the Tanya that is written about today, those are those things. Like we have permission from the Alter Rebbe to ignore certain things and not try to fix them, work with them, engage with them, just to let our wisdom guide us to the next location. And then there are things that are a mixture of good and evil. So we're meant to kind of try to uplift it for the good. And when it comes to keeping mitzvot, like it's kind of the same thing with like Shabbat and kosher. Like if it's not allowed in the Torah, it's not allowed. It's like a no-go zone. But if it's a mitzvah like lulav and etrog on Sukkot, shake the lulav, like go in the sukkah, that's like a green check. Like, yeah, do that, go. That's great. That's going to make light in the world. But there are things in the in-between zone, and that's called klipas noga. It's like a mixture, like a meal, a kosher meal. It can be used to fuel us to do something great, or it can be used, God forbid, to give us energy to run in the wrong direction, right? Or do something not good with our time. So it's a morally neutral thing, and we're meant to kind of use that moral imagination to uplift it for positivity. And this is the last part of the chapter. This is like the last soul hack. The next one goes into a whole different thing, like we read the map. Chapter 20 starts the section called Highest Consciousness. So as soon as we're done with this chapter, we're going into a new phase of study. But today we're on the last soul hack. So number one, we have, remember that the Yetzer Hara comes in a black silk jacket and very tricky and very small, smooth things that he tries to get us to do to block our godly wisdom. And to also remember that there are certain things that are impure, we're not meant to uplift, we're not meant to work with, they're toxic, they're negative. Until that person is ready to, let's say, be kind or whatever, then we don't have to talk to them, right? We're meant to preserve our God-given like dignity and soul power. So you guys are amazing for bearing through this very juicy long chapter. Page 229. L'chaim to everyone for being part of the Espresso and Kabbalah Club. So I'm just going to read the last few lines in Hebrew because they're so beautiful. V'hinei ar Hashem ein sof baruch hu hamelubash b'chachma shebenefesh gadol ba'atzam kachai kol kach legarish v'lidchais hasitra achra v'aklipais shalai yichulu yagiu afilu b'levushav shehem achshava dibur ma'isa shalamunas Hashem echad. So the light of Hashem has such great and awesome power that it will expel and drive away all of the negativity from touching our soul's garments, which are the thought, speech, and action associated with the faith in one God. So, like we said, the soul is multi-layered, and the superficial aspects make us who we are. You know how they say, your habits are you. What you do every day, that's you. What you wrote about in your reference, like your resume, that's what you aspire to be. But what you do every day, that's you, that's us. And the Tanya teaches us, like, forget your inner struggle, forget your inner battle. That's going to be part of you your whole beautiful life. We're born to struggle. We're born to toil. We're born to do the best we can. What makes us beautiful people are beautiful thoughts, beautiful speech, and beautiful actions. All we have to do, try to be impeccable with our word. Don't hurt people with our words. That's like, so much damage is done with words. Like even in the media, like someone says something silly, stupid, and it can cause genocide, God forbid. Like our words have so much power. Try to be really mindful to not take things personally, to not make assumptions, to keep our thoughts clean, to try to really focus on the fact that our mind should be like a beautiful place that focuses on light, and also to do our best with our actions. So that kind of means like, let's stay in our own lane, really try our best, really do what we can to make this world a beautiful place, and that makes us the perfect in-betweener, the guy in the book that we're trying to be. We don't have to do much. We just have to focus on our thought, speech, and action. And that changes our insides. That affects the soul structure to be really powerful and beautiful. So we have this hack called dormant love, remember? It's an inheritance. It's given to us from Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All the Jewish people, all souls really have this dormant love for Hashem. And when we wake up that dormant love, it's like a sleeping lion. All we have to do is give it a little poke, and then it's up, and it can roar and surge faith to the heart and dispel the wicked negativity which traps us. And it's just such a powerful soul hack. But here's a question. What if this test of faith just involved the garments? Would it be possible for a person to retain absolute faith of God within his heart and just go through with an action or verbal statement of idol worship, not really meaning it, so to save his life? Are we allowed to do that? Just kind of...
I guess it depends on what's your, like, how it is you're looking at it. Like, you can pretend that an idol means something to you to save your life.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't really, because it's saving your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so instead of saying, this is just a flower vase, it's not anything.
Yeah.
I can just say, oh, that's pretty. So I'm not taking away from what you called it, but I'm not saying anything bad about it. So this is, God forbid, this is your idol, and you're like, you know, this is, everybody needs my idol, and I guess that's pretty. I'm not saying anything against your idol, because I have to save my life.
Yeah. So it's a pretty tricky thing, because are we allowed to just fake not being who we are, just for show? Like, is that a sin, to just not really mean it, to just, I'm just gonna follow this idol because whatever, it's not really me? Like, I met a soul, my friends and I were passing out like Shabbat candles in Israel, and they were talking to this soldier, and he was like, Ani Yehudi balev sheli, I'm a Jew in my heart. That's good for me. And I remember my friend, shout out to Chana Mishka if you're listening, she's like, but like, can you be chayal balev? Can you be a soldier in your heart and like sit on your sofa at home with like eating chips and like everyone's in battle but you're a soldier in your heart? Like, no, you can't be. I mean, to each their own, obviously, but like just a Jew in your heart, but like, or just a soldier in your heart, but then our thought, speech, and action don't reflect that value. Like, it's just like, you know, food for thought. It's a pretty rough calling, but I think the Alter Rebbe is telling us here, like, at the end of the day, like, what happens is what's extended to our thought, speech, and action. You know? And that's also a saving grace, because we can feel really horrible inside, but put a good face on and, like, say the right thing, and that has an impact also. What do you guys think? Have you ever just, like, said the right thing even if you didn't feel like it, but it changed how you felt or thought something? We all have.
And it changes things. It really changes things. And you choose to be more positive.
Even if you're not feeling it and you're
Yeah.
just like, I'm going to say the right thing right now.
Well, because it's more aligned with your true self, and it's
Mm.
like so that inner light.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just I feel like you just get a little bit misguided sometimes, and just letting the ego take over just can
Yeah.
be disastrous.
But that's so true what you just said, that it's like in line with our inner self. That's what this chapter is about, that no matter what you say and what you do, like your true acts of goodness are actually your true of you. Even if you feel a little off one day, like whatever, we all have days, like the real us, that's what this chapter is about. Dormant love means our innermost innocence self is godly wisdom. So when we act on that and we say, forget what I'm thinking right now, forget what I'm saying and doing, I'm just going to follow the godly path of, making my thought, speech, and action beautiful, that's the real me. That's the real me. So we can always fall back on that. We don't have to feel like hypocrites for doing the right thing. We don't have to feel like imposter syndrome. Is that what it's called? When we don't really feel like we're where we are. That's the real us. It's called in Chassidus Pnimius Haratzain. The innermost you wants to shine, wants to be amazing. And now we're at the end of the chapter. When the wisdom is awakened, it not only reaches the soul's deep core, but its garments too. So such a person will have enough faith to resist even an empty act of idol worship. So what is an empty act of idol worship? Idols, come on, what are idols? Like nowadays, money, celebrity, fame, power, phones. Idols, they take us and make us serve them and kiss the ground at their feet. Like we think they're all that, but they're not. They're empty. And when we remember our deep core, we have the strength to resist serving idols. Dahainu, this is literally the last couple of lines. Lamad b'nisayin limsar nafsha filu shalela says rak eze maisa levad neged emunas Hashem echad. So an awakened chachma will inspire a person to give up his life to save himself from doing a mere empty act that's contrary to faith. Like, oh, just say this, just do that. No, we have the inner power to resist negativity. And it's like, what do you mean? Why can't I just bow to the idol? Will save my life. I don't believe in the idol. It's fine. Do you think that action has any meaning if he doesn't believe in it? Like, it's okay if I do that little sin because it's not really me. What do you think about that?
And why are you doing it? Like, what's the part of you that's making you do it? I think that's the part that defines you.
Well, why would someone bow to an idol, just an idol that they don't believe in, if it's going to save their life?
Because it's going to save their life?
Maybe. Sometimes we feel like it'll save our lives to just do what we want to do.
Like my purpose here isn't finished.
Yeah.
So I'm going to, look as if I'm bowing, but I'm not really.
Look as what?
I'm going to look as if I'm bowing, but I'm not really, because I don't
pretend
feel
bowing.
it. So I'm just kind of like...
It's such a trick.
But I don't feel it, but you can't see the expression on my face. You don't know how it is that I feel.
Yeah.
You just see me going like this, and you're like, oh, yay, they got it.
Yeah, it's so easy to get trapped by I'll just say that thing because it's not really me. And then Alter Rebbe is like, but that's like bowing to an idol you don't believe in. Like, why would you do that, right? That's a really good example. So it says he would be willing to give up his life, verbally attesting to a mistruth about God's unity, even though his mouth would not be consistent with his heart remaining completely faithful to God. So what does this mean? A healthy person acts who they are. If we feel happy and we act happy, that's healthy. If we feel sad and we act sad, also healthy. We're meant to be able to cry and laugh and be people. That's health. Non-health is when we're happy but we act sad, or we're sad and we act happy, like we're not in tune with our reality. So if our soul is godly, what's going to be the healthiest expression in our lives? Exactly. Godliness. Acting godly. That's going to make us feel the most whole, the most in tune and aligned. Like taking on a mitzvah makes me feel more aligned, more passionate, more goodness flowing in my life. And every mitzvah counts. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. It's like every little tiny step that I take in a direction of positivity makes me more expressing the real me, my neshama. What do you guys think? Sorry.
I just think every step that you take forward, it's like 2 steps forward can overlook that half a step back sometimes. So,
Yeah.
oh, I had my coffee and I was too tired to brush it because I forgot.
Make it now.
But I did 3 of them on the next couple.
That's right. Exactly.
You make that extra effort to acknowledge that you step backwards,
Yeah.
but you're making the extra effort to step forwards. Sometimes you don't think enough. How do we act like the real us? Actions aligned with intentions. If that person, right, he believes in God, but he's like, I'm just going to carry out an empty act of idol worship. I'm going to save my life. It's not a deep betrayal because he doesn't believe in the idol. But that act is forbidden by Jewish law because he's portraying betrayal. So in Judaism, like, the bottom line is action. The bottom line is like, if you don't feel like it and you do something good, good. If you do feel like it and you do something good, good. But the main thing is to do something good. Hamaisahu ha'ikr. Which is a little bit different from popular culture, no? Very opposite.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
What do you think is like the going currency? The going rate.
Controversy.
Yeah. What makes people, it's very different from Judaism's values,
Well, like, I think we're motivated by, like, fear or love. So if we're going to be seen or unseen or just love. I mean, love's more simple. It's more simple. But fear is complicated. It's like it can take over and blind us and lie to us and get us way off track.
So true.
And then it's just a blinder. So it's like a fear that, we're gonna anything. So I think it.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of mentioned the popular culture.
Yeah.
I was like thinking about like Megan, is that her name? And
Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah.
It's like obviously maybe there's fear there, and there's love, and there's fear, and there's
So
like,
much complication.
No, but it's so complicated because it's like the love isn't there. But I don't know.
So funny.
I didn't know the whole story.
Oh my God, I don't know. We will never know.
Yeah, I just see a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's like popping up on my Google.
I know, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's kind of like a saga.
Yeah.
But that's how fear is too, because it's like, oh my God, it always like kind of sneaks up and just like,
Yeah. So if we think back in our lives about the moments that we're the most proud of, that's the real me, that's like the good me. I love this line. It says, if you want to know who you are, look at who you used to be. You know, we've all had those moments where we were like us, like shining, vibrant us, like the best that we could be, and we can always return to that.
It also gives you a chance to look back and see when I thought this was like the worst and I was never going to get out of it, and you know, and now look where I am. So, you know, it gives you both. Look back to the best time and look back to the worst time, and you're still here.
Exactly.
Regardless of both.
Yeah, we made it. We're here at this day, no matter what has happened.
You can't stay that high on top of the world all the time, but you're very grateful to not be that low in the dumps all the time either.
Right.
So
it's an accomplishment to be here today. Yeah, exactly. I love what you're saying. So, how do we make ourselves proud? What I'm getting to is it comes down to, even if I felt really not great, but I did the right thing that day and I pulled through and I showed up and I like made me proud and I made Hashem proud. That's what, like, you know, what you really, I love that song for kids. It's like, when it comes to saving money, I'm not gonna sing it because it's like Kol Isha, but all you really take with you is what you give away. Like, we don't take with us any of the bubamaises that go on in our heads. We take with us the gifts of kindness, you know, what we gave to others. So the thoughts and the speech and the action, like what happened at the end of the day, the things that we expressed, the things that we portrayed, the things that we told ourselves, the things that we told others, the things that we've done, the mitzvahs we've done, the Torah we studied. You know, that is the real us. And we can kind of meditate on that, just like what's inside of me, like my wise, knowing heart. It feels so good to express it, you know? That's the awakening of the wisdom. Page 230. We talked a lot about love. And like you said, Katie, fear is also important. To take a good look at reverence, at awe. Because love makes us feel big. Love is when I'm up close to you, zoomed in. Like, I feel great about myself. I feel great about you. When we love Hashem, we're like so grateful for his awesome kindness and blessings and everything that he does for us. What about reverence? When we take a step back and we're like, fear makes us feel small. I'm not talking about fear in a negative sense. I'm talking about fear in a positive sense of like when we're standing at royalty and the king and the queen are like, and we just feel like a tiny little speck. That's how we're meant to feel for God sometimes. Sometimes up close, really loving and like wow, and like those big, blooming, beautiful feelings. And sometimes really, really small and humble and like, how can I even be in your presence of such amazing greatness? We need both of them in Yiddishkeit. We cannot only serve God from a place of wow, amazing love, peace. You know, we have to also serve God with a little bit of commitment and respect and fear and awe. And they're both a really big part of the Tanya's guidebook for how to worship and how to serve and live and practice. The love is natural. She'ava hativis shebenefesh, ha'alekes shebeklalos Yisrael, shechafza v'rotzena b'tiva le'davik b'sharshu makara, ar ein zef baruchu, shemipnei al b'zeh v'ratzan zeh, hi yireya umefachades b'tiva min gaya b'ktzei tumas avodah zara chas v'shalom, shehi neged emunas Hashem echad. Afilu b'levosheha chitzainim shehem dibor amaisa bli emuna b'lev klal. And with that we end chapter 19, and I'll translate. This love comes naturally to the divine soul found in all of Israel. Its innate desire and will is to be attached to its root and source, right? Like when we love someone, we just want to be close with them. It's like yearning, desire, closeness. And as a result of this love, the soul has a natural aversion to and trepidation of the slightest association with the impurity of idol worship, God forbid, which is in conflict with the faith in one God. And that's the answer. How do we not bow down to an idol even if we don't mean it? Because we can't stand, we have an aversion to anything that's in conflict with Hashem, with the true us. And as we've seen, this is even where the association of idol worship only involves the soul's outer garments of speech or action without any faith whatsoever in the heart. And it's like, how can I possibly sin or slip a negative word or a negative thought or a negative action if I love God? It makes us have like this duality of love and fear. It's like, I love you. First of all, I fear you and I respect you, but also I have an aversion to anything that's against you. So Yiddishkeit is not just about peace and love. It's also about hate for evil and hate for anything that opposes godliness. I don't like to say it because I like to talk about peace and love. But without like a healthy dose of, what's the word? You know, because we need love in the world. Hate drives us apart. But I think we need to have a healthy distance, from negativity.
You know, you kind of need to know what it is that's not right. Like, okay, I can look around and know that, you know, like, this is what's always around me and this is not for me. Doesn't mean I need to say, I hate those people. It's just the way they function is not for me. Because they're doing contrary to what I believe is the godliness part. And I don't need to ask them why they do or anything.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, let's wrap it up with a final meditation. If I love my friend, my partner, my family, anyone who I'm in a relationship with, Hashem, myself, anyone I come in contact with, if I focus on the fact that I love them, I want to do good for them. But I'm also, like, let's say the person I love hates mushrooms. Happens to be that Beryl likes mushrooms, but let's say he hated them. I would be closer to him by having an aversion for that and not cooking it for a dinner, right? I love this line, like every yes to something is a no to something else, and every no to something is a yes to something or someone else. Like when I say yes to my husband, I'm saying no to everyone else, right? And when I say yes to my time to pray, I'm saying no to my phone. And vice versa. When I'm saying no jumping on the table to my child, I'm saying yes sitting on a chair, right? It's all a duality. We cannot have a relationship without a duality. Because if I love you, but I also love what you hate, like, God, I love you, but I also love idols. Do you really love me? Do you really care about what matters to me? Like, I hate idols. How can you, like, enjoy serving idols if I hate idols? And it's written that God hates idols. And idol worship is anything that we bow down to and glorify and look up to and respect and worship and follow with, like, above all else, right? That's an idol. So when we dig into our relationship with Hashem and ourselves and our loved ones and our world and our life, let's remember to say yes to them, whatever situation we're in, by saying no to everything else. And there's a beautiful line in the Hasidic book of Hayom Yom, which says, like, Hatzacha Bizman, success in time, is doing one thing at a time.
What is it again?
Like success in time,
No,
like
in Hebrew.
time management, Hatzacha, success, Hatzlacha, Bizman, in time. We can't be successful in time if we're saying yes to everything. Like, yeah, I'm just going to do everything at once. Doesn't work. So, yeah, this chapter is about saying yes to our inner godliness and no to all the silliness. Yes to the positive thoughts and no to the negative ones. Yes to the good words of love and kindness and care and consideration and empathy, and no to the mean words. No, we don't allow it. It's the three impure evils. And yes to the positive actions, and no to the negative ones. And with that, we can really emphasize our godly wisdom. So thank you for joining that really amazing long chapter. That was a really special one. Next week is on a different topic, very fascinating, non-dual Judaism. We just said it's dual, but it's going to be non-dual. Cheers. Thank you for tuning into Kabbalah. Take a sip of espresso. L'chaim. Cheers.
Oh, cheers.
Cheers. Thank you guys for tuning in to Espresso.